this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Friday, June 17th, and today Venus moves into Cancer. Today is the last day of the Yod, and today is the official first day of the mutable Grand Cross. I had told you yesterday that the energy in the first Grand Cross emphasized the Sun and Venus, but in this Grand Cross, it's going to emphasize Mercury. Mercury represents the way that we think and interpret our lives, the way that we look kind of at our immediate environment. It allows us to have some dexterity in our thoughts. That's just general Mercury. Mercury energy is all about how we communicate, how we decipher, how we analyze things. And this has to do with our daily environment. It's a very fast-moving planet, so it deals with the things that are going on in our life on a daily basis. Like, we got to get up, we've got to keep a schedule, we've got to, get to work, we've got to take in input. It compartmentalizes all of our immediate stuff. And it allows us to kind of delegate what we need to deal with, like right now. That's kind of Mercury thinking. And then when we get up to like, Sagittarian or like Jupiter thinking, I think what that does is it elevates everything kind of on the bigger picture. Like Jupiter kind of expands on, the higher mind. So we're really dealing with this stuff right now. Like a lot was thrown at us. Maybe in our immediate environment, lots of things changed. And so we're kind of having the thinking went from what we desire most in our partnerships, kind of these really external things, to like some really internal confusion. We got to look at things in lots of different ways internally to kind of, figure out what we want right now. So when Venus moves into Cancer, I said that energy was going to significantly change, and today is proof of it. Like the energy really opened up today, and in a lot of interesting directions. For one thing, Venus in Cancer, it goes from being very superficial about some of what pleases it, and superficial about pleasure and superficial about spending money. And then it drops into Cancer. Cancer's all about saving. It's all about securing money. It's all about making sure that the home environment and everything is secure so it pays its bills, It really likes to make sure that its foundation is fully funded. It's really comfortable. Lots of focus on the house, lots of focus on comfort in your house. People like to spend money when Venus is in Cancer on like things that make home life worth living. Like, maybe you want to buy a brand new TV, or maybe you want to buy a bunch of candles, or maybe you want to buy some new bedding for your cozy little bed. Maybe for some of you, it's like, you really want to start, you really need some cozy blankets. It's all about being cozy, comfortable, and secure. Is this the best energy for Venus? I don't think so. But I do think that Venus works very well in this energy because it can really help us focus on what pleases us most about our home and family situations as well, and who we want in our home and families, and what type of family. It really gets us to focus on enriching family and enriching those relationships, partnerships, and unions around families. It's a time to focus on family problems and solve your family problems, and take a look at everything and really try to add some beautiful, nurturing energy to those environments. This is an energy where, with Neptune in Pisces in retrograde, I think this has a lot to do with maybe you're going to be spending a lot more time at home, kind of in comfy. You're going to kind of want to feel a little bit distant. Maybe your energy levels are not quite the same. You're going to find a lot of really unusual external things that slow you down. So I think a lot of people are just going to feel drained energetically, emotionally drained. And so going home is going to make them feel very secure. It's going to really kind of recharge the battery. I think that this will help. You will really be able to read your partner, your significant bonds, your unions, your family members. You're gonna read between the lines very easily. Now, with Neptune in retrograde, it could be a little bit confusing, some of the messages that you get, because we don't really have that really high level, spiritual guidance going on, because it's kind of like in retrograde, it's kind of like sleeping right now. It's kind of like you're more in a reflective energy. For some of you, this could get you to think about your ideal family, or your ideal the things that you want to attract in your life regarding family, what type of family you hope to have. These could be a lot of conversations about, taking those relationships to the next level and moving in and creating a home together, really partnering in, like really, creating that nurturing environment. Now, at the same time, we've got kind of 4 different things going on in our mind, like we want to add structure, and we want to take a look at our daily rituals and routines. For some of us, that's to help us make us more attractive. For some of us, we could set out some really good routines at home, or we can start eating better and making it kind of a family event. For some of us, what this could mean is that we start to gain a little bit more control over some of the issues that we have in home and family. We can start to attract some resolutions in that energy. I think with Neptune and Saturn in this square that they're having, it's about being very real in some of our expectations regarding home and family. So it's not Cancer energy just pouring their heart into everything and nurturing it and loving it no matter what. I think there are stipulations in this energy, because this is a pleasurable energy. I mean, anytime Venus is in an energy, it wants to attract energy that kind of feeds it. So you're really wanting a lot of deep love and nurturing, and you want a close bond in this energy. You want to bring relationships closer. You probably want to start entertaining a lot more in your home, because, it's just that you want to bake. You want to just do things for people in this home, in this energy, excuse me. Mercury is doing a lot of thinking. It's making you decipher a lot of energy, and it can be very internally confusing time. That's why I think a lot of us are going to be super tired. Again, our desire, Venus just went into Cancer. It's conjunct with the sun in Gemini. I think there lies a little bit of confusion, because, there is an intensity going on, and it does make you a little bit hypersensitive in the relationships, the bonds, and the union. I think there's an intense situation there, but I think that you're going to deeply identify that situation. That's going to unlock the base of your yacht. That'll answer your question, hopefully, as you start to decipher some of this as you go out onto stage, and it's showtime and energy. I think that this is very significant. Now, I want to talk to you guys because in about 2 days we have energy. We have one of the biggest moons I've seen, full moons, in a very long time. It has some powerful energy associated with it. It's not just a full moon. It's a second full moon in Sagittarius. It's an accumulative energy of 2 months worth of working on this exact area in your life, alongside a mutable grand cross. And then we still have our T-square going on. And I just believe what this really does is really just ramp up some of the energy that we really, it's really going to help us define things. It's going to put things into perspective. It's going to help us identify what we want most in our relationships, partnerships, unions, and our relationship with money, our expectations financially of what we want moving forward. I know that I've gotten really budget oriented out of all of this energy, and I've gotten really focused on paying everything off, and I've gotten really focused on my work, and I've just gotten really focused And you would think that it would be the opposite with this mutable grand cross, but it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with that. I'm just really focused on results. I'm really focused on change. I'm really focused on adapting some of the habits, rituals, and routines that I avoided for too long, and they've caused some problems in my life that I'm ready to take the reins on. And because you're so reflective in this energy, it's so easy for you to see where you went wrong, and it's so easy to see where you can make changes for the better. So for some of you that are having these revelations, and for some of you that's like, well, I know that I need to change this over here, I think the confusion lies in, what do I do first? Because there's a lot all at once that we're being expected to kind of change and take a look at. And there's a lot going on in our minds. There's a lot of different considerations. There's a lot of different decisions on the table. And I think for some of us, that's why I think it's going to be really good to kind of hone in a little bit, kind of nurture yourself in this energy, kind of really embrace some of your closest bonds, relationships, your partnerships, and your unions if they're going good. If they're not going good, then this is going to be an energy where I think that for some of you, it's very clear what you need to do moving forward. Because, this is very substantial energy. With the yod ending today, I want you to understand that it's very significant that you consider this yod. And if you haven't been listening to my dailies, go back to when the yod first started, which I think was on the 12th. Because it is a very powerful time when a yod comes into your life. At the same time, we have all this crazy energy. I think it's substantial that you get a question and an answer period from the universe. At the same time, you're going through a lot of confusing energy. I think it was just like a little like in your ear about, hey, I know you got all this crazy shit going on, but this is the one thing you got to pay attention to. I believe that it'll have a ripple effect to kind of solidify all this other. So if there's a powerful energy, a significant response from you, from all of this energy, there's a specific area in your mind that stands out. Can you solve that problem first before you move on to everything else? Because that's where you start. That's the starting line. That's the curtain coming open in your new life, your new sense of self. It is going to help you identify things a little easier. And it's really significant because today you also get the cumulative energy of this yod. And the cumulative energy can lead you to the answer to this significant question. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner. And I look forward to telling you how this is going to affect your sun, your moon, and your rising. Hi dear Aries, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus moves into Cancer at the first day of the second mutable grand cross, and it's the last day of the yod. So kind of a big day, kind of a really energizing day. So I like to talk about what's going on with your ruler so that you guys have some sort of idea about how this impacts you. Now, the significant energy I think for you in this day is that today is the last day of the energy of the yod, and it's in your energy. The top of the yod is in Mars energy, and it is conjunct with the moon in Scorpio. So what this suggests to me is that what's intensifying in your life is the quest to find out the answer to this question. For some of you, you may feel very, very compelled to deeply identify what you're passionate about, to have lots of conversations about what you have maybe overcame in your life, or what you desire most, or what has started to make your fire burn again in your life. Like, what's intensifying? Because I think once you do that, then you deeply identify either what you do want or what you don't want. It's very drastic energy. And it's also an awakening energy. It's also the ability to take a look at your life and to make some sudden and radical changes if necessary. If necessary. For some of you, this could just be mental clarity. In my day-to-day lives, these are the changes that I need to make in order to add some more fulfillment, in order to add some originality to my life. Maybe I was stagnant in energy for a while, so maybe this will spice things up. Maybe I won't feel so compelled to be kind of dormant in my own existence, kind of just a repetitive person, an unconscious thinker, but to be very, very conscious. You know, Uranian energy in this particular issue, when it's in a quincunx with your energy combined with the moon, I bet you there's an emotional explosion that for some of you that can happen today that will get you to deeply identify issues. Now, this could be a deeply internal battle from within, or it could be a very external. The stinger comes out in this energy and you sting what no longer serves you. You do not want it, and it kind of ends it. It's like an ending. It's like a dramatic confrontation in this energy. But whatever happens, there was a change that needed to be made, and today provided you with either the solution or the epiphany, the awakening of what exactly needed to change today. Now, Venus moves into Cancer, and this could have a lot to do with your home and family life. It could mean that you make a sudden decision to like move somebody in, combine your resources. It could be a sudden decision that what you are identifying in this energy is that you no longer wish to be doing it alone. Maybe for some of you, it's like, I want somebody. I've been single long enough. I've been lonely long enough. I've been excluding myself long enough, you know, and maybe for some of you, it's the feeling that you need to collaborate with people. You need to be understood on a daily basis. For some of you, this is a beautiful healing time, because what it can mean is that, you know, you're moving toward an end of a cycle, a very significant cycle that I think had something to do deeply with a very intense feeling that you've had for some time, a compelling feeling. I think for some of you, a compelling change that for some of you that you know that you've needed to make, but I think that you've just lacked the discipline and structure to be able to do it. I think in this energy, it kind of, for some of you, it could pull, it might not even be you. It may be somebody in your environment just gets so freaking out of control, and, you know, they don't listen, or, you know, you communicate and they don't seem to understand you, or, you know, you have this really big idea, this elevated concept. You really need to get somebody significant on board in your life with it, or, you know, and this has to do a lot with your home and family. If they can't understand you, if they can't understand the big picture, if they can't, and the pain that it's been causing you for a tremendously long time, then for some of you, it's about time to think about changing and radically changing, for some of you, your routines, your rituals with this home and family situation. It could be a sudden move. It could be a sudden moving out. It could be a sudden, you're just going to fix up the house like you have never had the energy before. The situation's always been bugging you, and now, you know, it's deeply intensified. You know, I definitely just need to make a change, you know, that makes this feel more at home for me. I feel more secure in my own environment. Some of you, this has to do with security. I think the scariest part of this, and what some of you are going to be radically changing, is that you're very secure with the status quo, but in this energy, you're not going to really be allowed to be in status quo. You're 2 days before the second full moon. Come on, whatever's been going in a May and June, there's some sort of accumulative energy, but it's going to open you up and broaden your perspective. In this energy, you're going to be a little bit more sensitive. You're going to be, you know, you're going to be a little bit more needy in your relationships, your bonds, and your unions, because you know what? Sensitivities have been building, and you need to kind of be fed a little bit in this energy. You're not a big needy person, but for some reason in this energy, you're just going to need a lot more security and support and comfort at home than you used to. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner. I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi dear Taurus, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus moving into Cancer for you. Now this is your ruler. Of course, when your ruler switches energies, it impacts you greatly. So today, Venus moves into Cancer. We've got the first day of the second mutable grand cross, and we've got the last day of the yod today. So we have a lot of energy. At the same time, your ruler is switching energy. So I believe for some of you, this is a very clarifying day. What it's going to do is, I believe that this is going to realign you and your thinking with what you deeply value most. See, the mutable grand cross, that when it forms, today is performance day. Yesterday we were on the stage and we were standing there and we were getting ready for the performance, but today we open the curtain and we give the performance that we value. You know, we added a lot of energy to what we value mentally in our minds. And today is the day where we kind of make some steps toward getting what we want most. You know, because we value it enough to make these significant changes. Now, some of you, the changes that you're making have to do with getting control over some situations in your life. And that's why you're making the changes, because I think for some of you, you see the need. You need to have some more balance in your life. I think for some of you, this has a lot to do with adding peace of mind. You know, when Venus moves into Cancer, it's just wants a little bit more predictable energy. You're going to deeply value the relationships, bonds, and partnerships and unions that are consistent sources of reliability, because that adds security mentally and physically. Right now, you just need a little bit of tender, loving care. It's a very nurturing energy. For some of you, you could need some nurturing. Or vice versa, you could feel very nurturing. You could feel very loving. You're going to have a lot of feelings in this energy. It's going to compel you, of course, you know, to kind of take a look at what you hope, you dream, and you wish for moving forward. You're caught in a little bit of a reflective cycle. Because of this second mutable grand cross. And I think for some of you, there could be some sort of clarity around, I need to know where my partnerships, my bonds, and my unions are going. I need to know, I need to have conversations. I need to be understood. In this energy, it may open up some of you to your most significant bonds, partnerships, and unions. You want to talk about things. I mean, you want to talk about all the changes. You want to talk about your hopes and your dreams in this energy. And you know what? You know, there is some opposition and some challenge with making some of these decisions. I think for some of you, what you could find in this energy is that this is the final day of the yod, and for some of you, Mars is really intensifying your relationships, your bonds, and your unions. There's a difficult situation that comes up in relationships where I think it makes you much more realistic about your expectations. It intensifies the desire to kind of make a commitment, or to make you feel secure. Like you have to have this intense conversation, I think for some of you, because there's an immediate desire to, like, I need to know that I have, you know, some support here, moving forward. There's some pressure associated with this energy for you, because this is there's some mental sensitivities that are going on. You're very vulnerable in this energy. I almost feel like in this energy, you're like the crab like out of its shell, like kind of emerging, and you're emerging in the energy, and it's so new that it's kind of scary. It makes you feel vulnerable. And even though the environment around you could be very safe, you know, you're conjunct with the sun in Gemini, and there's there's enough bait to lure you out of your shell to make some of these changes that you got to make. and to, really be thinking the way that you are. But as much as you have the bait in front of you, there's still a PTSD response to whenever you put a lot of energy into something, there's disappointment, or there's fear, or the past may not have been supportive, or your past programming in some of your lives. I think a lot about, your home and family life, both past and present for some of you, because the sun is still in Gemini. Some of you really want to autocorrect unconsciously the karmic cycle that you were on from your past programming. But there's this very compelling, maybe centuries for some of you, of karmic cycles, of life lessons where there was disappointment. And so I think for some of you, there's a lot of fear associated with some of these big changes that you need to make moving forward. This could, Neptunian energy can make you very hypersensitive to some of the situations that cause you a lot of discomfort. So I just want to make you very aware that there is a risk in this energy. There is a compelling risk that you need to take. In thinking about it in a new and different way, you've got to really align yourself with what you value. You really do. And then you've got to open up. You've got to talk in this energy. I think talking through will be the saving grace in this energy, especially if it's people that you trust and you love and you feel really understand you and know you and really want to protect you. I think that will honestly start to motivate you in a really positive direction and make you a little bit safer, the crab coming out of its shell and revealing, like you're on stage and you just got stage fright. That's what it is. You're on stage and you got stage fright. And, there's a new sense of self and a new sense of identity. And, you're kind of reminiscing over the familiarity of the dysfunctional you and the dysfunctional lifestyle. And the fact that you're really starting to open yourself up to, commitments and love and relationships and foundations. And it's just stage fright, honey. That's all it is. This energy passes. That's the good part. It all passes. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Geminis. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus moving into Cancer at the same day that we have energy that is building up in our mutable grand cross. Today is the first day of the second mutable grand cross, and then it's also the last day of the yod. So pretty big day. I said that when energy dropped into Cancer, that big changes would start to manifest in our lives. I think it would start to kind of, solidify or ground some of the energy that has been kind of confusing us in extremes. Your energy is involved in a mutable grand cross at this time, and I think that that's very significant. So your ruler is in your energy, in Gemini energy, and so you are deciphering a lot. You're in your head a lot to me in this energy, and what you're really deciphering is what you value most. For some of you, you're thinking a lot about money. This is definitely has a flavor of tangibility to it. You're thinking about security. You're thinking about your home and family. You're thinking about your foundation. You're taking a look, and is this house, is this life that you're living right now, does it please me? Do I want this? Do I identify with the life that I'm living right now? Is it, there's a duality in this energy for you when you're thinking about securing your foundation, securing your money, your finances. You want to add value to your life, and this could be on a lot of different levels. This is both tangible and intangible in this, or tangible and intangible in this energy, and there lies a little bit of the confusion. Right? That's a lot to put on you. It's a lot of pressure. And so you feel mentally kind of pulled in lots of different directions all at the same time. because there's an emphasis, there's enough momentum when we start to think about what we value most. There's a lot of momentum in pressure about how you're thinking about everything. And most of all, it's how you identify it in your mind. Like, what do you identify that you need to do first? You know, I think it's very confusing in this energy, because in this energy, you know, Saturn is opposing your energy. It's asking you to take a look at your life and get some control and perspective over your significant bonds, your unions, your relationships, your significant relationships with others. You're trying to identify who you identify with, what type of partnership, what type of life, who do you want to set up family with? Who do you know, like, does your current home and family really, really resonate with you? I love this energy for you because it's an opposition. It's not a square. You're squaring off with Jupiter and Virgo, and so to me, if you make some of the commitments that you're going to make, that you're thinking about making, and these are something that you deeply value, one of the things that's going to change is your rituals, your daily habits, your routines. They have to change. And there's the square off. There's a square off in your mind. It's like, well, I don't really know if I want to make those commitments, and I want that type of responsibility. But you're definitely being guided to visit that. And then, of course, there's the reality check. You know, when you make a commitment to your current situation, when you start thinking on this level, when you start thinking about, like, with Venus and Cancer energy, it's all about, you're kind of craving something in this energy, but for you, you may not know what you're craving. It's very confusing what you're craving because there's a duality in what you're craving. And for some of you, this has a lot to do with the life path that you're doing. I think the biggest energy that I want to talk to you guys about is you guys are trying to figure out the direction you want your life to go. But at the same time, you have all the pressure from, you know, doing something with your routines, your rituals, and your habits. And at the same time, you're dealing with some sort of relationship issue. At the same time that you're having a lot of pressure to deeply identify that road that you need to go on. Lots of pressure, lots of energy, lots of confusion. And this is hard for you because when you get a lot of energy pulling you in lots of different directions, your energy gets very, very scattered. It's very, very hard for you to focus. It's very hard for you to know what you want, and it's very overwhelming energy. Now, today is the last day of the yod. What this does for me is that, you know, we got a yod at the same time that we were kind of in between energies, in between mutable grand crosses. So you had all this energy pull you in all different directions, and I think a lot of your lives just kind of took a different interesting turn that I don't think you completely anticipated, and it kind of made some very big, it opened your eyes to a lot of big areas in your life being pulled in different directions, and there was a lot of confusion. It had a lot to do with what you deeply desired most, and then it had to do with your significant bonds, partnerships, and unions. And for some of you, that was highly emphasized in this. Pleasure seeking was highly emphasized in the last mutable grand cross. Now it's not so much about that, because I think you've kind of worked through what you desire most and what you want from your significant bonds, unions, what, you know, your excessive pleasure seeking, you kind of probably have had a bit of a reality check in that. And I think you've had a tremendous reality check in money. You know, the value that you place on it, the way that you want to attain it, the way that you want to enjoy money was very significant to you. But at that same time, we had a beautiful yod show up, and the yod was this really big signal from the universe. It was just getting, it wants you to intuitively, it's intensifying a certain area in your life. That would be the moon in Scorpio, and it's conjunct right now. The moon in Scorpio is conjunct right now, Mars in Scorpio, which is at the top of the yod, and then tomorrow the yod, we no longer have the yod. So emotional momentum, lots of intuitive energy, I feel like some of you are very, very sensitive in this energy to the intensifying energy. And I think it's such an unpleasant energy that I think you immediately get, because you're a pleasure seeker. You always want the good time. You always want the optimistic energy. You always want to be the light twin, even though sometimes you're compelled to be the dark twin. You always want the light. You avoid the dark because that's just lots of spinning in your head and lots of thoughts you can't control, and it's very hard. But so you're automatically drawn down to the sweet spot in energy, and for right now, that's Uranus and Aries having this glorious conversation with the sun in Gemini, your sun, what you desire most, what really does it for you. I think for some of you, you're deeply identifying that. I think what it's doing is intensifying what you hope for your future. What you need to collaborate for some of you in this energy, and you feel best when there is a collaboration, a supportive collaboration, which kind of goes hand in hand with this Venus moving into Cancer energy, because that's all about this need to be nurtured and loved and understood, and you're kind of being compelled in the right direction. But you have to identify with this, and you have to value this feeling enough to want to make these significant changes that you've got to make. And guys, this has a lot to do with your habits, your rituals. It has to do with your mental health, your physical health. This has a lot to do with peace of mind for me. Where is there a lot of uncontrollable energy in your mind? That's probably the direction that you're being led away from. Where is calming energy in your mind? See, Gemini minds are very specific. When they get spun up, it's like a tornado just brewing all the time in your mind. Your mind can't sleep, it can't rest, it can't stop thinking, and it gets scattered when energy. It's kind of like, you're just like they're scrambling an egg, and it's just scrambling your energy right now. So I would try deeply in this energy to be compelled with this Venus and Cancer energy to move towards something that is secure, loving, nurturing, grounding. For some of you, if you do not have a significant bond, partnership, or union that does these things for you, then what I suggest you do is really concentrate on your home environment. Have some people over, entertain in this energy, really turn the fire up in your sun. You engage, you get really, you're such an engaging soul when you're out socializing and, I don't know, being you, flirting, having fun. For some of you, because of this Venus in Cancer, it's about entertaining at home. It's about, I don't know, making a great meal and having lots of great conversations with your home and family or in your home environment, calling friends, having them over, for some fun at home. Like for some of you, you just need to feel like you're really being filled up internally in this energy. That, there's a bit of dependability. I think for some of you, you're very attached to home right now. The security. For some of you, what could have been revealed is the type of lifestyle that you want to start living in your home environment. So maybe it's about going out there and looking for a different home, for your family to move to, or whatever's going to add some excitement. I do want you guys to be very conscious of some of this past programming that's been stirred up as well, and some of the past that's been stirred up as well. It's adding a lot of dust and confusion. The past is not the present. It is a tool, but it is not something that you should allow to encompass your thoughts and to confuse the past and the present. Do not confuse those two worlds. Okay? The future's now, daily, your immediate environment, which is what I think that the energy of the previous mutable grand cross was trying to get us to understand. In our immediate environment, where's our energy not grounded? Where is it sporadic? Where is it scattered? And try to get some handle on that energy. Add Mercury, Mercury in Gemini is emphasizing there's a lot of focus on you. There's a big tractor beam on you right now in energy. And you can attract solutions in this energy, and you can attract resolutions, and you can attract awakenings in this energy, and you can attract the answer to all of your problems in this energy. But you can't let the energy swirl you out of control and then fall into habits, rituals, and routines, past programming, and situations that no longer serve you, because there lies the issue that will deflect you from the path that I think you see. But there's a little bit of stage fright to actually kind of go on and like really start to identify with the performance that you need to have make moving forward in your identity. Like, you're re-identifying yourself. It's kind of like when, you know, an actor goes and they completely become a different character. I kind of feel like for some of us, we're having to develop a different set of tools in our character and re-identify some of these areas in our life that we were kind of just on automatic pilot and really let run away with us. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Cancers. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus moving into Cancer. So this is your home energy. Venus is moving into your energy. It is the first day of the second mutable cross, and it's also the last day of the odd. I told you guys that when energy dumped into Cancer, things were going to get interesting, and they're getting really interesting. That in this energy, you're kind of feeling like you need a commitment to things, or you need to make a commitment to something, or you're craving a little bit of security in this energy. I don't think a little bit, a lot. For some of you, this could be an emphasis on some financial security, some financial, I know with me, I have just all of a sudden been compelled to make all of these financial goals and really make some significant changes in my financial situation. Venus is really kind of stirring up the energy when Venus was, and it still is conjunct the sun in Gemini. It's really honestly, what I desire most, if I were to get down to things as typical Cancer, is I desire security, commitment, rock solid investments. That's what I really desire. That, you know, for some people, it could mean very pretty things. No, for me, I want security. I want to know that, you know, the people that I care for and that I love and that I'm putting my energy into, I know it's going to pay off. I have to know that right now. For some reason, I'm being compelled, and I'm sure that I'm not the only Cancer energy out there that's being compelled, especially with all this energy. One of the things that's very difficult for you right now is this moon that is in Scorpio. So the moon is your energy at the time all this big, huge energy burst happens. It's conjunct with Mars in Scorpio, which is at the top of a yod. You're really being directed emotionally. And what's emotionally being intensified in your life on a very deeply passionate level is to move strongly away from some sort of past situation that no longer serves you. And you are wanting to make some definite changes in forward energy. For some of you, this is about doing it. This isn't about talking about doing it. This is all about making those decisions to do it. It's a very radical type mindset in this energy. See, you're very emotionally compelled. And when emotions get intensified and they get stirred up in energy like this is very substantial for a Cancer. You follow, because when your emotions don't feel altogether good, you freaking go take action, or you have some sort of emotional outburst, or you have some sort of emotional confrontation about it, or you just blow for no reason because you've stuffed and stuffed and stuffed. So what you're going to do in this energy is there's going to be a sense that for some of you, I think that this is going to intensify absolutely at an uncontrollable level for you to make some significant changes to get you some of the things that you deeply identify with. And this is all about the pleasure and all about, and for what's more pleasurable for you than your home and family. What's more pleasurable for you than the amount of love and nurturing and care that you put into these situations? What you deeply identify with most is the amount of attention that you need on an emotional level. For some of you, there's going to be a strong need to stand up in this energy and to pronounce something, you know, to really make your feelings known in this energy. This has been a buildup. There's been a lot of years of buildup and intensifying in this area, and you want some sort of secure resolution. You need a resolution, and baby, you're going to be singing it from the mountaintops. And this is freedom. This is liberating you. This is releasing this block in energy. This is not about stuffing anymore. This is about the teapot just letting it all out. And you need to be felt, and you need to be known, and you need some of the people in your most immediate environment to see what you see, to value you the way that you value yourself, to identify the situations that you feel need to be fixed in order to add this element of security and really add some sort of consistency to your environment, because what you can't handle is inconsistency right now. I don't think really anybody can handle the inconsistency that's going on right now. And so but you don't deal well when you get in scrambled energy. And so if there's a lot going on in your home and family, or there's some instability regarding money, you're going to start to want to take some action. You're very cardinal in this energy. It's time. You're not scared in this energy. You deeply identify and you are empowered in this energy, and it makes you a little bit feisty, and you're willing to take some risks. And I'm telling you, the risks are either the stinger comes out of the Scorpio energy, or the energy gets so intense that you kind of get what you want. And there's always a little bit of fear. When you take a risk, there's always a little bit of fear. And it's scary, because what you're going to have very serious conversations about is stuff that I feel it's deep within. Like, you're very vulnerable emotionally in this energy. And I feel like it's this stuff you've been thinking about. But you have to almost talk in this energy to calm the confusion, to calm the swirling, to calm your mind, to calm your environment. You need your environment to calm the fuck down. Like, you cannot take the drama and the confusion and the lack of focus. And you're going to be almost a leader in this energy about getting these situations to calm down. You have a very elevated perspective in this energy. But I think Neptune plays a very big part, because Neptune is in retrograde right now, and it is in an almost exact square with Saturn at this time. I think you have very good ideas about how to resolve some of these situations in your life regarding your rituals, your habits, your routines, your physical health, your mental health. I mean, you get it. You can't live this way anymore. And you got to have some conversations. And it's difficult, and it's confusing, and it makes you feel vulnerable, but you want this. You see, you need to add some more pleasure to your life, and what pleases you most, what is the most pleasurable energy, is that there is some security in making investments in people and sharing your life and having collaborations and unifying with people. You got to know that this is the real deal. Piss or get off the pot energy for you. Really, honestly, super duper cardinal in this energy. Have these conversations. One of the things I think is very compelling is the base of the yacht is the answer to all of this energy. And it's Uranus in Aries, and it's the sun in Gemini. So the sun in Gemini, there's a duality going on in your mind, and you need to have some conversations about it because of this Mercury and Gemini energy. You got to. It's the sun in Gemini, Mercury and Gemini. You got to have these conversations. Unpleasant or not, they got to happen. And This will really reroute the direction that you're going. So guys, this isn't energy that's going to really, it may not be the resolution that you thought. It may be quite unexpected, the energy that comes out of this even. And there lies the redirection. You know, this could have to do with your external environment really changing the way that you look at everything. I know that the shooting that happened in Orlando, I'm just shocked that we're still so dumb. You know, that we're not rational. I'm dumbfounded that still goes on. Who the fuck cares who sleeps with who? Like, why do you care? Why is it your business? Do you see a homosexual or do you see somebody who's gay going into a bar full of straight people and killing them because they're straight? Like, what the hell just happened? But the conversation, it brought forward some very powerful, outstanding issues that, believe it or not, we're still going through. And I believe for some of you, that's where you're at. It's like, believe it or not, this shit's still going on. And you thought you solved it, but you didn't. And so now you got to get real. You got to get honest. You got to deeply identify with this process of revelation. And you got to be forward in this energy and very, very cardinal. Because it's time to get what you want. It's time to secure things up. It's time to finalize some of this energy for you. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Leos. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus moving into Cancer. So today is the first day of the second mutable Grand Cross. It's also the day that Venus moves into Cancer, and it's the last day of the yacht. So lots of energy. I said that when energy drops into Cancer, lots of stuff is going to start to change. Now, of course, your sun is still in Gemini, but it's conjunct this experience. It's conjunct this day. So to me, this suggests that there's a lot of powerful energy for you. And you know, my nose got really itchy right when I started talking about your energy. So I'm feeling like there is an intensity in this energy. Every time I talk about negative energy, my nose gets super itchy, and it's been the worst itchy on you. So to me, the Leos probably are going to have some sort of significant issue come up in this very sensitive energy. Venus moving into Cancer, it makes everything intensify emotionally about your significant bonds, your partnerships and your unions, about your money situations, about how you feel deeply, about how you felt about these things in the past, and how the past may still be interfering with the future. For some of you, you've been thinking about a change that you've needed to make for a very long time. There is something that you want some security, you want some longevity in this energy, because when Venus drops into Cancer, Cancer kind of wants predictable commitment type energy. It really craves security and comfort. So for some of you, this is making those changes that you've been thinking about. This is stuff it's deep. It's been going on for a while. The sun is going to be involved in this last day of the yacht. So today, because of where your energy is, I believe that there is a sudden clarity, an answer to your question, an answer to the way that you collaborate, the way that you socially interact, the recognition that you desire in your social circles. Some of you have been thinking a lot about making some changes and re-identifying an energy, and there's been a lot going on in your mind about what you want, how you want to be understood in energy. I believe that for some of you, what's intensifying what you desire most at this time is to be accepted for both your strengths and your weaknesses. This is a conversation about the duality of some of the things you desire, or maybe in your lifestyle, or maybe in the way that you want to move forward. Maybe you we're moving forward in one way, and then you decide, oh, I'm going to make a bunch of radical changes, and it's going to, you know, change the direction drastically. For some of you, what this is going to do is you need to be deeply understood on a very, very elevated level. So this is stuff that you see down the road in your future. And you've been thinking about this for a while. And so today, the last day of the yod, the moon is conjunct Mars there, and Mars is in Scorpio at the top of the yod. Hey guys, this has a lot to do with what Cancer rules, home and family. What is deeply intensifying is your home and family situation, where you desire to live. What type of lifestyle, what type of home do you want, or what do you feel very secure with? Like, for some of you, this is, you've been thinking a lot about your significant, your bonds and your unions, and it's kind of like you've been wanting to make a commitment in energy. And some of you may be having this revelation that's probably time to start having this conversation, as difficult as it can be. For some of you, this could be dramatically, this could be a sudden move. It could be a move far away from your immediate environment, especially if it has to do with a hope, dream, and a wish. Some of you may be making some very radical decisions. Mercury is in Gemini. The sun is in Gemini for you. And Mercury is squaring off with Jupiter. It's squaring off with Neptune, and it's opposing Saturn. So, guys, it's time to take a risk. It's something that you deeply value, want. It's going to change your habits, your rituals, and routines in your home environment. It's going to expand some of the details that you need to see in this energy. It's going to, the change that you need to make is based on the reality of your situation, and not based on what you idealize, but based on what is really going on. And then on top of it, it is this needs to be something that you can align with your hopes, your dreams, and your wishes, what you want for your future. You know, you have to feel like there's a team supporting you, and everybody's on team you. And if you know, this isn't about ignoring the elephant in the room for you. This isn't about not having those conversations. This isn't about that. It's not about avoiding. It's about let's head on. I deeply want this. And when a Leo fixates on what they want, they gotta have, and they feel deserving in this energy. And it's because I think that you deeply identify it on such an elevated level. Okay? So this is a very liberating energy. It's a very forward-thinking energy. It's a very forward, outspoken energy. You're going to be very, very outspoken in this energy. You're not going to hold back. No restraint in this energy for some of you. You know, I feel very fired up about my opinion, you know, because I'm a Leo on the cusp of Cancer. So I'm very fired up about my opinion. So for some of you, there could be some you know what, if you've been holding your tongue in your home and family, just try to keep the peace. You're not going to do that in this energy. In this energy, it's about getting what you want from your home and family situation, not about making everybody else feel secure and comfortable in their home and family. No, you're all about making it, you want some pleasure, and you want to feel secure. You want to feel happy. You want to feel understood, and you want to feel like there's the possibility that you can be very committed to, you know, the type of environment that you're surrounding yourself by. For some of you, this has a lot to do with making some significant changes in the way that you move forward. This is a great time to get counseling or to go back to school. Some of you could just make a sudden change to be like, you know what, I'm going to move away from school. I've been wanting to be a physician's assistant. I've been wanting to go after this acting career. I've been wanting to start this YouTube channel. Like, whatever you've been doing, it's been a thought that's been going on for a very long time. And you see that being the next destined course. And it's just time for that radical change. And the answer comes today for you. The sun is really shining brightly in this energy, and it's intensifying the duality of you've been settling and you don't want to settle anymore in this energy, because this has everything to do with pleasure and security and longevity. And by the way, it's very cardinal. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Virgos. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus moving into Cancer. At the same day, we have the first day of the second mutable Grand Cross, and then we have the last day of the yacht. So today, curtain opens. It's opening day, first performance. And a lot's going down. Your ruler is involved in the yacht. So the very first yacht had to do with the sun conjunct with Venus, and now it's Mercury time. So we had to take a look at what we desired, and we had to take a look at our relationships, our bonds, our unions, our money situations, the amount of pleasure that we wanted to add into our life, the duality, the pleasure seeking. We had to take a look at all of that. And then we need to think all of that energy through. And so there's a lot of energy for you. This is absolutely directing you in a specific, onto a specific path. But initially, there's going to be some confusion because there's going to be a lot of energy that pulls you. You have a lot to think about. You're thinking about your relationships. You're thinking about your home and family. You're thinking about your past programming, the past family that you were involved in, or the way that you grew up, the energy that you grew up in. And you're trying to completely re-identify the sense of self in this energy. And this is something that you're making commitments to on a daily basis. And you're starting to change some of your habits, your rituals and routines, and the way that you want to personify yourself on a daily basis. And so that's a lot of energy pulling you in a lot of different directions. It's stirring. This energy feels like a little tornado in my mind, and it's stirring things up. It's stirring, and your mind can't stop thinking in this energy. You can't turn it off. When Mercury energy starts to turn the wheels, you can't turn it off. What it's going to make you crazy about is categorizing. It's like you take all this, it's like you come in and your death is a disaster. A lot, like when you were gone the night before, everybody piled on all this paperwork and all this stuff, and they're not there today. One of the things that I find really hard about this is you're going to want to organize it, right? So you're going to be obsessed. You're not going to think about your work for that day. You're going to be so obsessed with all of this input coming in and all this energy, and you're going to be like, I've got to, properly put all this stuff in piles so that I know what I'm freaking dealing with, because I don't have them here. I don't have the information I need. That feels like what the energy is about. And then guess what? You have all your daily duties on top of it. So you're gonna have to identify, well, do I deal with what is on my plate, or do I deal with what I got to do today? So there is a lot of confusion. Now today we also have the last day of the yacht. The moon and Mars are going to be conjunct in this energy, intensifying your thoughts about your immediate environment, intensifying your thoughts about all of this energy. You're going to be emotionally compelled to understand. It's going to be super frustrating because there's a need to have some communication to be understood. You might come off a little overbearing and dominant in this energy today just because you're very frustrated. You're such a forward thinker in this energy, and you're trying to really correct the life path that you're on, but the duality, the confusion, the lack of clarity, or the fact that people may not be able to understand this on a very elevated level is going to be super frustrating and can cause some confusion and intensify the situation emotionally. What's really destined is that you're really attached to what you deeply desire most out of this situation. Make them cool and calculated. Add a lot more logic and reason to this situation, even though energy is going to kind of stir things up and cause your mind to get too busy. When you get an energy like this, you get hypersensitive. Hypersensitive because it's just too much. And you like everything in a neat, tidy category. Like you like it You like everything very slow coming, so that you can be very thorough when you got to come up with everything. But there's so much coming at you at one time. You're hypersensitive. It's just overwhelming, the change. And what you're deeply identifying with is the amount of change that you're being expected to do all at once. And it's really redirecting your whole damn life, right? It could be redirecting your social circles. It could be redirecting who and what you're collaborating with. It could be changing things altogether, and that's going to make you hypersensitive in this energy. When you've got Venus in Cancer, sweetie, you are very, very afraid internally. There's a lot, you feel very cautious and you feel very vulnerable in this energy because it's new. It's new. Uranus energy is new, sudden, dramatic energy, and you don't like any of that. You go your whole life trying to make everything, fit into these little categories. Just understand that what this is really doing is awakening your future and the route that you need to go in your future and the direction. And what it's really doing in this energy is aligning you with what you hope for down the line. So sometimes there's a lot swirling in our immediate environment in order for us to get to where we need to get to down the line. So remember that this is a passing energy. All of these energies pass. This is not a constant energy. So as you're hypersensitive, as this energy makes you feel intense, go home. Just go home. Just go home and be in your environment where you are in control of your outcome. When you feel overwhelmed, this is not time to go out and socialize and collaborate and try to make shit happen in your life. This is time for you to just be very sensitive and take care of you. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Libras. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus moving into Cancer, which is your ruler. We have the first day of the second mutable grand cross, and we have the last day of the yod. So I said that when Venus was going to move into Cancer, that kind of energy would be like, holy hell, everything just, totally changed and got kind of really interesting. So your ruler is going to be conjunct the sun, and it's a very difficult energy initially. Initially, the moon is going to intensify emotionally what you value most from this situation that you have in your life. Like, what do you value most about a relationship, a bond, a union? I'm thinking that for some of you, there's some sort of commitment you want, or some sort of predictability, or you crave a little bit of security in this energy. You kind of want to have the conversations about, like, where are we going and where is this all this energy headed? You're very charming and energizing in this energy, but I feel that some of you aren't exactly getting what you need quite yet, and what you're deeply identifying in this energy is, on a very elevated level, is the duality. And the duality is, I don't know as if for some of you is something that you want right now, because what you're really wanting is to solidify and ground this energy so that it gives you kind of a firm structure and a firm foundation, so you kind of know the direction you want to head moving forward. Security and recognition. I think some of you want some recognition. You need some attention in this energy. I'm not going to say that some of you are a little bit needy, but you could be. Some of you could be very, very needy in this energy. It's almost like you want a grandstand to get attention. You're very moody and hypersensitive to this energy because there's a lot of, you're being emotionally compelled, and everything is intensifying what feels like around this moment. What's around these significant bonds, relationships, unions? What's around money and the career life path that you've got to start going, the direction you want your life to go. A lot of energy is pulling you in a lot of different directions. This has a great deal to do with the mental instability. And I'm not saying that you're mentally crazy, but what I'm trying to say is that you have a lot of past programming and a lot of preconditioned thoughts that are interfering with the present forward energy. And some of this energy is good. It skews the way that you look at your immediate environment. It skews the way that you look at the the rituals, the routines, the habits that you get yourself into, the physical relationship that you have with your body, and the physical and the relationship that you have with mental clarity, peace, and harmony. Some of you, this is a skew right now. I don't feel very harmonious in your head. It doesn't feel very peaceful in your head. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of clarity. And, there is just your scales are high and low. They're not balanced. To me, that it just feels like it's like this. And you put something up, there's an idea up here and you plunk it down, but it goes like this. And you're like, okay, that didn't work. So I'm going to do this. And you put a rock on it and you think, okay, that rock kind of felt as a little bit heavy. So I bet you it's going to make it here, but instead it goes like this. And you're just doing this. And what you're really wanting to do is calm this energy the F down. You don't like it like this. And to me, I feel like, I feel like this is an internal process. And although relationships are some of the forward energy that I see, it's also what's intensifying the situation, intensifying the stakes. It's upping the ante in this very elevated thinking. But there's an extreme in this energy that doesn't allow you to have the balance in your mind. And it's going to push the boundaries of your thinking. It's going to push the way that you view things. It's going to transform. It's going to awaken some of the things that you need to do in your deepest bonds and your unions. You are going to, if your deepest bonds, your unions, your partnerships, or any sort of money situation, if it is highly not pleasurable, if you are not feeling a lot of pleasure or security or comfort, you're not feeling very nurtured in any of these areas, then I can tell you right now, it's going to get extreme before it gets better, so that you can understand just how compelling it is to move away from this situation, how valuable it is to have peace of mind, and to have those difficult conversations, and to make those commitments to setting up routines and rituals that you can count on, that add some sort of peace and harmony to your situation, some bonds, some unions. There's a strong pull in creating some significant collaborating energy for you. You have to do it right now. And in that energy, you start to see exactly where some of your weaknesses lie. And some of your weaknesses lie is indecision, is indecisiveness, is a lack of in forward thinking. It is a beautiful energy, but it's complex and it's very. The second mutable grand cross it's just going to pull you in a lot of different directions mentally. There's not going to be a lot of peace. It's going to be scattered in there for a little while, but I think as it scatters and it pulls, there's a sweet spot in this energy where it's that last day of the yod, and the answer is being emphasized at the last day of the yod. And that's between Uranus and that's between the Sun in Gemini. Radical change is necessary to get you closer to what you desire most, and for you to identify both extremes in this energy so that you can create a really powerful resolution to this situation. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi dear Scorpios, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus moving into Cancer. At the same time, we have the first day of the second mutable grand cross and the last day of the yod, and your ruler is really caught up in the last day of the yod because Mars is in Scorpio, conjunct with the moon in Scorpio at the top of the yod, and at the base of the yod is the answer to this almighty question, this destined, fated question. At the time when we are experiencing tons and tons of confusion and there's just a lack of clarity, we get this little signal from the universe that says, okay, here's the bottom line. If you really want to just intensely focus on something, here's the bottom line. And I know there's all this other swirling energy, confusing energy, but here's the bottom line. The bottom line is you need to identify what you're feeling intense about. And that can be kind of confusing because there's a whole lot of shit going on right now. And it's super hard to like get really focused on that particular area. But really, honestly, if you were to be just a tractor beam for your internal compass, like what's really intense in your life right now? The second question that, the energy that I would deal with is the fact that there is some sort of ritual routine, something in your routine, something in your daily life, something in what goes on a regular basis that is intensifying your situation. And then, what changes do you need to make? And it's a pretty radical and drastic change for some of you. And what's intensifying is the desire to do it. And there's the emotional momentum that's really building in this energy. But I think what's really scary about this energy is that there's a sense of unpredictability in it. If you have to make this radical change, and it could be in something that you routinely do that you've grown accustomed to. And so making that significant change would mean making a very radical, sometimes for you, a lifestyle choice that you used to deeply identify as quite pleasurable. So for some of you, it's just making a very, very significant decision. Now, this moment all comes up to the fact that when we have Venus in Cancer, this is about adding some security to your life and some comfort. And, Venus represents comfortable. It represents luxurious feelings. It represents the need for pleasure. It represents the good things in life. And so does Taurian energy, which is why it's also ruled by Venus. But, you're really craving some security. This has a lot to do with how wonderful you feel in your home environment and the rituals and the routines and the health habits and the mental habits that you've gotten into on a regular, consistent basis. Maybe there's a radical change that you need to do. Maybe for some of you, it's like, I need to work out. I want to look a certain way, and I'm done with the excuses. And the awakening is, these are the radical changes I need to make. For some of us, it's like, I just want to look totally different. I want to look like a totally different person. This exterior doesn't really I don't really identify with my exterior. Like what people perceive me as, I don't identify with it. I need to make some radical changes on a daily basis that gets them to identify what I see about me. And I'm intensely motivated to make some stark, decisions that really, really start to get people to see what I want to see. And if I can't have these casual conversations about it, I might have to awaken them in this energy. Now, this could be for some of you that it is, when we get into this, when Venus goes into Cancer, it is about making a commitment because we're just craving security. We're craving the type of attention we want. Some of us get really kind of needy in this energy. There's a need to be emotionally understood. This is an area in our lives I think we're very vulnerable with. I think there's a duality to the situation that I feel like if you reveal it, I feel like some of you may be scared to either face the change that you need to make because it's kind of going to change everything, or you're going to be afraid of the reactions of those in your closest bonds, your unions, your significant partnerships, especially kind of around home and family. I think what some of you are going to be most fearful of is that people won't be on board with, and these are people that you deeply value. I think that for some of you, this is getting to the point to where it's kind of compelling, and there's no denying what you're feeling. And the intensity has ramped up to such a degree that I think you know the answer to your question. Now, the conundrum in this energy, the difficult energy I find, is that, you know, the sun is in Gemini and Mercury is in Gemini, caught in this mutable grand cross, and that's the energy that's shifted. So for some of you, it's about getting you kind of mentally on board with making this change as well, and the duality of the old sense of self and the new sense of self. For some of you, there's a sense of losing a little bit of your masculine power in this energy, because masculine energy is dampened in this energy. It's in retrograde, and so there's a lot more feminine desires on the table right now than you're used to revealing to people. There is a feminine energy. This is very feminine energy, very nurturing energy. You know, feminine energy doesn't have to be man and woman. Feminine energy can mean, you know, just the fact that you need more love, you crave more security, you kind of feel like really getting close. There's a significance to this energy. It really honestly does not have anything to do with just female and male roles, you know, or even the classic beaver cleaver type roles. It has everything to do with, there are times in our life when we attach to our feminine energy, and there's times in our life where we every human being attaches to masculine energy, but your masculine energy is dampened, and you're really kind of, what's really stirring in you is all of this feminine desire. And when you get into the feminine desires, energy shifts and it changes, and your focus changes. And what deeply intensifies, I think most of all, is your feelings. And you need to be you're being emotionally compelled to be understood in this energy. I do want to tell you that, you know, with the end of the yod, the answer is apparent. The answer is a deeply internal guided answer, but you've got to acknowledge that the answer is there. You can't turn away in this energy. Neptune in Neptune in Pisces is going to compel you to want to look away. But don't look away, because there's the answer to your problem as well. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi dear Sagittarius, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus moving into Cancer on the first day of the second mutable grand cross, on the last day of the yod. So I told you guys that when Venus moved into Cancer, crap would be a lot different. It would just really honestly be a very different energy. The second mutable grand cross is substantial because your ruler is really engaged in this. It was engaged in the first grand cross, and it's engaged in the second one as well. So what's very significant about this energy is that your ruler is squaring off with Mercury in Gemini. It's squaring off with Saturn in Sagittarius, and it's opposing Neptune in Pisces, which is in retrograde. So Saturn and Neptune are in retrograde. So you kind of got the past and the present kind of rearing its ugly head. And it makes it kind of difficult, I think, in this energy for you to kind of be able to focus on this Venus moving into Cancer energy. What's really apparent is that you need to make some changes. And what I think you've been ultimately compelled to for a very long time is to kind of decipher some of the situations regarding your home and family life versus your career life path destiny. So you've been trying to you may be spreading yourself a bit thin. In this energy, there's a sense that the sun is in Gemini. It's at the base of a yod, and it is in a sextile with Uranus and energy. So I'm feeling like you need to make things a little easier. It could mean like something like this. So you're dating somebody and you have this really compelling work schedule, and and you have this family life, and then you're trying to have a social life on top of it. The duality is that you're equally invested in both outcomes, but the duality is that you cannot possibly spread yourself that thin. Like, it's too hard. It's too much. You're just being torn in too many different directions, and there's a lack of a focus on any one area. So I think you've got to merge some of this energy. There's a sense that the duality needs to be less extreme, and that you need to find a way to make all of this much more efficient and to work a little bit easier for you and to kind of lighten the mental load that this is starting to take. Now, this is something that I think you have to deeply identify with, because you have to get some control over it, because Mercury in Gemini is in opposition at this time with Saturn, and Saturn squaring off with your ruler. So there, you need to identify the areas in your life, in your relationships, and these are your significant bonds, partnerships, and unions. This could be any type of relationships where there's opposition, and that opposition will provide you some sort of little compass as to like, okay, I kind of need to consider that, and I need to balance it with getting some control over it. Where's the middle ground in that? That could be a really good indicator. But what you don't want to do is completely ignore the details altogether, because then Jupiter is going to go in and really expand the details. Really, things are going to start to get out of control, and the conversations about change are going to intensify with you, because I think you're refusing to see something. I think you're refusing to consider something. I think you kind of want things going your way right now, and I think that there is a bigger and broader purpose out there than just, you know, that limited belief system or concept. So I think that opposition is a great indicator of where we need some more balance. Opposition is just that word. It's just two energies that are here that kind of want to meet in the middle. They just want to meet in the middle, where squares are just complete. They're just complete oppositions of each other. And it's just such a great pull in two different directions that you can identify where it's not working. And opposition is where you can get things to work, if you see what I mean. So today is the last day of the Yod. We have the moon in Scorpio conjunct with Mars in Scorpio. And at the base of the Yod, we have Uranus in Aries, and we have the sun in Aries, and it's the last day. So to me, that's that the universe is going to try to get you to focus on the solution, on the answer to your question. It's going to try to awaken the desire for you to take a look at the duality in this situation and to find some sort of resolution to meet in the middle. And the way that it gets you to do this is it kind of makes it a bit extreme. It kind of creates, it's impossible to avoid, because it's so intense, and the momentum has built today in this Yod, because it's really trying to point you to the resolution, the solution to the problem. And this is going to start to really help you develop and identify what you need to change, and you need to change now. For some of you, this could mean, well, you know what, we're living apart, and you live on one side of the town and I live on the other side of town. My work's over here, my home and family, I've got all these, let's just move in together. You know, let's just start to collaborate. And it's just the realistic approach. Like, if you want to pursue this, it's like some of you have to take these very realistic stands in your life. It can't be about avoiding all the details and I can do everything, and you just pile tons and tons of responsibility on yourself and think you can pull everything off because you're a Sagittarius and you're just huge like that. In this energy, you're not huge. In this energy, Jupiter's not benefic. It's malefic as hell, and it can make things go exponentially out of control in a way that you didn't quite anticipate. So it's really important to pay attention to the details. It's really important to pay attention to where energy is directing you and redirecting you and opposing you. Be very mindful of that very internal process where we deeply identify opposition and squares, and then trine energy. Like, you really want to make sure this feels really good over here. Okay, I'm doing that right. This feels like, oh, they're asking me questions. I know they want me to think about something. I have the answer, but I don't got time to deal with it. Well, I think you need to deal with it, because that's a really positive outcome right there if you do right away. And then where there's an absolute square, you need to move away from. And I think that's going to start to calm this energy. Look, Jupiter has been expanding you in such a way that I think for some of you there's such a tremendous amount of growth that it's just too much, because it's in opposition and it's super confusing the way that the direction that you're being asked to go. Again, the yod is the last day of the yod, so the answer is being revealed. You've got to open your eyes and see it. You can't turn away from anything. You can't avoid it because it's not a good time. You've got to really face this energy. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Capricorns. This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus moving into Cancer. So today, we have the first day of the second mutable grand cross, and we have the last day of the yod. So to me, what today suggests to me strongly is that the answer is going to be revealed. See, it's so strange. We're so confused, and yet there's this ordained energy that provides us with clarity at the same time. Francis, no. So I believe that, okay, so we have the last day of the yod, and at the top of the yod, we have the moon in Scorpio, we have Mars in Scorpio. It is quincunxing Uranus and quincunxing the sun in Gemini, but the sun in Gemini and Uranus energy are in a glorious sextile. The sextile is the answer. So the answer is, it has to do with your home and family. The resolution needs to be something that you deeply identify with, that you're personally compelled in this home and family situation to balance out, to make it to where it's less extreme in this situation, to take a look at that daily ritual and that routine and provide some really amazing resolutions. You know, Uranian energy always represents forward thinking, future thinking, resolutions. It just provides you with, to me, there's a duality and there's an extreme duality, and it's intensifying the emotional momentum. You're being kind of emotionally compelled to deal with this situation because I think it's been going on for some time. It's an old energy. And it's a very hard energy. It's a very masculine energy that's been going on for a very long time. So that whatever's going on, that energy was very determined to get what it wanted. And so you're going to have to add a little bit of intense energy to try to get some resolution to this situation. Here lies some of the issues that go along with that. As you're trying to be very solid and grounded, and you're trying to set goals, and you're trying to get this thing under control, there's actually a lack of control because we have our second mutable grand cross. So in the first grand cross, we had the sun and we had and Venus, and they were conjunct. And the second in Gemini. Now the second grand cross has Mercury in Gemini. So we're thinking this through a lot. We were deeply impacted and desire a resolution, some rational thinking regarding this issue. And it would please you greatly to do this. Like you need this to be resolved. Like it's not an area that you feel at all that you're going to ignore, because when there are situations in your life, and if you desire a resolution enough, and if you attach enough pleasure into diving deep into this problem headstrong and finding resolutions, you are going to feel compelled to be a force in this energy. Absolutely deeply compelled. So the problem lies in the fact that you've got to figure out, is this something that's realistic? Is it a hope? Is it something that you desire or you wish for? If you're trying to get control over it, one of the things I'm going to say is that you are going to have no control. One of the things you need to adapt to, and this is mutable energy, so it's all about being adaptable, is that you have to adapt to the concept. And this is a hard one because you do not do this energy well. But you have to adapt that your mind, your thoughts, your elevated mind, your lower mind dealing with your day-to-day, and you've got to adapt your conversations in such a way that it allows you control in a different way. And so it's very hard, because this is a very, very, very intense energy that you're dealing with, and you are deeply compelled to resolve it, to make drastic changes, to go in there and take control over the entire situation and solve the problem. And you want to set up habits and rituals and routine and add structure, and you want this to go this way because it's your way or the highway normally. But in this situation, this is going to add a lot of personal growth, and I believe what this is really trying to get you to understand, there's a lack of clarity with you about what your role is in this situation. You are wisdom, okay, in this situation. You are not the person that has to solve the problem. You are a wise soul. You are guiding others. You are having very significant conversations that offer powerful resolutions. And this may have to do a lot with your closest bonds, your significant partnerships, your unions, your home and family. You are having to have lots of conversations with lots of different types of people, and you have one goal in mind, but you're having to adapt all of your communication and your thinking, and this is very strategic energy. So this is manipulating a lot of the information to try to get what you want. Not an easy energy. I'm not going to lie to you. This is very tough stuff, because in the end, you're a fierce force. You like control. You want it to be the way you want it to be. But what you don't understand is it stunts other people's growth when you try to control other people's outcomes. You don't allow them to manifest their potential. And what you end up doing is being very closed off and very closed-minded, and they close off to you. And you're the wise one. You're the one with all the answers in this energy. But unfortunately, your delivery is a little bit crazy, because there is such an intensity to this situation, and you're really wrestling with your mind in this one. This one, you're really wrestling with your mind, like on all levels. This is past-based stuff, so it's kind of conjuring up some past feelings. It is really brewing up the fact that you can see a really great outcome, and the potential could be expanded exponentially. So you're super excited about it, but at the same time, there's a lot of day-to-day discipline that it takes to pull off mindsets like this when it's kind of changing you. You're becoming adaptable, and you're not adaptable. You're not adaptable. Capricorns are not adaptable. No way. They're fixed, and they want things the way they want them, and they are absolutely tyrants when they don't get what they want sometimes. I always wondered why Jennifer Aniston was single, and then she has Capricorn in her chart, and it's like, that's all you got to say, because I bet you she wants things the way that she wants things. And Brad Pitt went off and it was with a Gemini, completely adaptable, just whatever. So I don't think he liked being controlled by the Capricorn. That's just my interpretation of it, but you can get what I'm saying. Like, don't push people so hard that you push them away. You're trying to be a team here in this energy. This is collaborative energy. This is energy where you've got to pull everybody together in your home and family. There's a lot of focus on this energy in securing a situation. You want to make it more dependable and predictable. You want to add some structure, and you want this to have a really dependable outcome. You really are really struggling with that when there is probably a force in this energy that's highly mutable, and you're just like, you can't seem to adapt to it as quickly as it's changing. Everything just keeps changing. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner. I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Remember that energy is always changing, and this is just a passing transit. It'll be here and gone before you know it. Hi dear Aquarius, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus moving into Cancer at the first day of the second mutable grand cross, and we have the last day of the yod. And I think, wow, have we been building for you? And I really feel like energy is switching. I've been talking a lot about your personal growth and a lot about some of the changes that's been going on with you lately. And I bet you kept saying, God, when is the energy going to lighten up for me? Like, she's always talking about like all these squares and all this stuff that's been going on. You've been having a lot of energy forcing you into an adaptable mindset. And it's been difficult and the journey's been tough on you. But I feel like energy is drastically changing for the better for you. Now, your ruler is involved in a mutable grand cross. This is the second mutable grand cross, and it's in opposition with Mercury in Gemini, which is the energy that shifted. Initially, the energy that was in the first mutable grand cross was the Sun and Venus. They were conjunct in Gemini. And that was very difficult because it brought forth a lot of adaptability in what we desire from our significant bonds, partnerships, and unions, what we desire regarding pleasure, what we desire regarding our, the value that we place on money and how we want to enjoy money, and what type of partner. I think sometimes for some of you, what may have been highlighted is I want this lifestyle, and maybe perhaps this partner over here is never going to give me that. And for some of us, there was just a clarity of like, well, I deserve this. It's kind of like a deserving. I deserve a very self-oriented energy. Many of you you were pulled in a lot of different directions, and it re-identified what you wanted and what you desire most. What you desire most is significant. But now here comes the thinking it through. Now here comes, okay, I want these things. I desire them. I'm compelled. For some of you, it was the amount of pleasure that you associate with things. For some of you, it was the amount of excessive pleasure that you do, the route that you go to get pleasure may have been somewhat askew, because you may have been contraindicating with your own, like you may desire this result, but there may be some extreme in your behavior that never allowed you to get that result. In this energy, you solve all that. You think it through. So what I think is substantial today is your ruler is involved in a solution to the whole entire thing. Your ruler is at the base of a yod, and that yod ends today. So I believe what's emphasized in this energy is the answer to the question that we've been kind of struggling with. See, when we had this mutable energy, it could have easily scattered us in 20 different directions, and it could have confused the hell out of us. But then at the same time, we had this yod, and it was like this energy from the universe that says, psst, over here, if you pay attention right over here, here's a solution to the problem that you were ultimately compelled to solve the problem. This was forward energy for you, and you were a bloodhound. You sniffed out the forward energy. You know what you need to do, what you need to make changes with. Some of you, what was revealed is the way that you think about things and interpret things on a daily basis. Some of you needed to make some significant changes in what you identify with. Now, the sun is on the other side of this energy, and your ruler is having a wonderful conversation with the sun about the duality, about what you used to desire and you desire now, about what no longer serves you and what you want moving forward, about the risk that you need to take to get what you want, because you know what you want right now. And when you know what you want and you lock and load on it, and there's all of this emotional intensity with this moon and Mars conjunction, it is really honestly about moving away from the past and about moving toward the future. You are future focused. You're not wallowing, you're not stuck in the past. This is all about making very forward movements and very exciting. Now, the energy that is very intense is you're going to have to it's going to redirect what you value most. And there's a little bit of reality associated with that. This isn't a dreamy energy whatsoever. It's like reality check. This is what I desire most. And I think what's difficult too in this energy is what you value most is that you're going to have to change on a day-to-day basis. Like, not that your value is going to change, but to move forward to what you want, to get what you want, like the holy grail in energy, you're going to have to start making some very significant changes on a daily basis to move forward in this energy. There lies kind of the complexity of the situation. When Saturn is opposing Mercury in Gemini, this is about taking a risk. For some of you, this has a lot to do. When Venus moves into Cancer, this is about making things a little bit more predictable. Look, it's not about making your life so predictable that you're bored, because you could never live like that. But it's about it's about giving you enough solid foundation that you can say, you can stand up without sinking in quicksand every 5 minutes and dealing with your immediate environment and not dealing with the bigger picture. See, what you want to do is deal with all of these dreams, these hopes, and these wishes, and you have all of this forward energy, but you're just keep being drawn down into these situations that are in your immediate environment that are kind of, and they're extreme, and it's just it's time to solidify things. So I think for some of you, I think you're going to be highly emotionally motivated to make some decisions and very, very compelled to solve the problem, because the moon in Scorpio is going to deeply intensify this desire to like take care of this situation. I believe there's a lot of risk, because this risk, I feel like kind of for some of you is very heart-based. And there's a great deal of an emotional investment in moving forward. I believe what you're craving right now is a little bit of security. I think you're a little bit vulnerable in this energy. And so there's a certain amount of security that even a force like you needs to kind of, have every once in a while. Now, Saturn is involved in a mutable grand cross, and Uranus is involved in this last day of the yod. So your rulers are very busy dealing with a lot of powerful energy. Expect that initially today to be very overwhelming. It's very intense energy. You're very sensitive in this energy. I feel like this energy, I think you're going to appear somewhat aloof and disconnected because there's a lot internally going on in this energy. What this has to do with is that there is something in your immediate environment that you're changing on a day-to-day level that is going to secure your environment, but you've got to get the extreme energy to be somewhat more in the middle. And there is a recollection, or there is a what you're identifying with is some of your old thoughts, and you're identifying with some of your new thoughts. And to radically change, of course, you have to identify the duality in that. And then you have to deeply go toward the new energy. So what's super difficult about making changes is sometimes we don't know if we're working on past programming, or we don't know if we're working on forward energy. And so I think for you, it's going to be about deciphering, well, what's forward and what's backward and what's this and what's that, with all of the confusion, with the mutable with the mutable grand cross pulling you in 4 different directions all at once. What you value, your new relationships, are you being understood? Are they energizing? Are there some great conversations? I mean, you really have a lot of expectation from your brand new relationships that you're inviting into your life. There is some very significant changes you're going to have to make in your immediate environment. There's sensitivities, and there's vulnerabilities, and there's a little bit of fear associated with making these drastic changes. And then, of course, there's just a compelling desire to get some control and to be very forward. In the midst of all of this confusion, it's like you're pushing yourself really, really hard in this energy. And I want you to kind of pull back and dial it back a little bit, because there's no need to be this crazy in energy. Not when energy is crazy. Timing is everything. And right now, although I think it's really amazing to be forward, what you got to consider is that Venus is in Cancer and you're emerging. in this energy, because you're trying to get what you want, and you're trying to get your significant bonds, partnerships, and unions to kind of mold into your lifestyle and see you on a day-to-day basis and get them to see who you really are. And if you're not this intense, right? It's just that the energy is intense and the energy is inconsistent and energy is adaptable and mutable and a little bit extreme. But it's good. They're going to see you at your worst, so they're really going to appreciate you at your best, I believe. But I don't believe this is the worst you've been, but I definitely believe that this adds an element of intensity that I think they probably do need to see. They probably need to see you a little bit intense to understand, what it's like to be with a full Aquarius, because Aquariuses are intense. They're very... they're fun as hell, but they're just super intense when there are situations that you feel compelled to solve and forward thinking. And right now, you're really identify with making some powerful changes and forward. So you're a little bit headstrong and directional. And, maybe they need to see you like that on a day-to-day basis to really, let them understand what they're getting themselves into. Anyhow, guys, beautiful energy, lots of positive energy. When your ruler is involved in the solution to the problem, you know that you're getting that you're going to come out with some wonderful clarity, an enlightening time for you. This is awakening energy. This is really, honestly, completely rebooting you. Rebooting your life on a day-to-day basis, I think, is adding more pleasure, more security, more comfort, more consistency to your daily life, which I think you desperately know right now that you need. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event. Hi, dear Pisces, this is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Venus moving into Cancer at the same day that we have the first day of the second mutable grand cross, and we have the last day of the yod. So your ruler is involved in the second mutable grand cross. So let's talk a little bit about the first one. The first one was we had the Sun and Venus conjunct, and it was in Gemini. And so we were really pouring a lot of our energy into extremes. There was a lot of extreme stuff going on. And what we were really identifying with is what we deeply desire most in our life. And this is on a very, very internal level. Your ruler is really pulling forth a new sense of self. Your ruler is currently in retrograde. When the first mutable grand cross was out there, it was like you were forward, and now there's a sense of reflections. There's a sense of going inward and really making sure that what you identify with, what you feel most desirable about, is that you're ready to make some changes. You're ready to add some consistency and longevity to. There's a lot of confusion in this energy, and if for anybody that I would say this to, especially you, please don't make many decisions right now. This is a time for thinking things through, but not a time for making actual decisions, because you may change your mind, especially with this mutable grand cross that we have, the second one. Especially when Mercury, which rules your mind, is in mutable energy, and is in making, when Mercury is in Gemini energy, it wants to make lots of decisions, radical changes. It wants to do them now, but your ruler's in retrograde. So I think that there's all this forward push, and you really want to make all these changes, or you're being compelled to, but there's just like, I'm not ready. Not really really ready to make these commitments that you are compelled to make. And for some of you, I think this has a lot to do with money, the direction you want to go, the type of lifestyle you want to lead. Like, you're identifying what you want in this energy. This has a lot to do with comfort and security. And so that represents money to me in this energy. I believe that your home and family has something significant to do with this decision making. Your your significant bonds, partnerships, and unions are definitely kind of intensifying in this energy. And I think what's really intensifying in this energy for you, since Neptune and Pisces is involved in an almost exact square with Saturn and Sagittarius, is, come on, this is time for you to identify the path that you need to go down. Now, when you identify that path, your relationships follow, and your home and family have to accept this new path. But I think that it's just so difficult because there's so much on the table. If you make this decision to go down this road, it means that it's going to affect this relationship. It's going to affect where you live. It's going to affect, some of your closest bonds and unions, and it's going to redirect your life. And there's a lack. I think this feels you feel a little bit hypersensitive, overwhelmed. You're kind of like the crab in this energy, Venus in Cancer. You're kind of like the crab emerging from its shell. The tide's out, right? The sun is shining. It feels safe, but there's a lot of hypersensitivity to it may not be the right timing. And I think for some of you, you kind of probably feel compelled to feel like it's not the right time, especially with your ruler in retrograde. If you're highly intuitive, you just know your energy is kind of off, and it's just not the right time to be making a lot of radical changes. Today, another significant energy is, we've been, at the same time, we've been having these weird mutable grand crosses, and they've been pulling us in all these different directions, and we're being asked to consider lots of different things at the same time. We've had the universe give us a sweet energy, and that was the yod, and the yod really asked us to have that deep conversation with ourselves about what we deeply value. And then we've got to take a look at the situation, and there's all this enthusiasm and all this energy and all this desire around a hopeful outcome. And for some of us, that was we were deeply identifying with creating a more authentic home and family unit for ourselves, or we were really wanting to go have our environment, our home, where we kind of hide. When energy gets intense, you like to go and you like to be at home, and there's all the security and comfort, creature comforts at home that you desire on whatever level that really grounds you and pulls you back in. And for some of you, there's a compelling need to kind of like make your home like a reflection of you, where if somebody walked into your home and you would easily externalize by your home how you feel about you. Some of you are going to be compelled to kind of have that feeling. It's not so much that you're withdrawing in this energy, although some of you could be feeling very tired in this energy, just a lack of focus, just because it's very draining energy. And this energy is very emotionally draining, a lot of energy. And it might be good for you to spend as much time as you can just kind of nurturing, taking care of you, getting a lot of sleep, because I believe that the yod is the base of this question. I believe that the universe is intensifying, and you're very passionate about getting the answer. You need some clarity, and today you could find the end energy of this yod is today you could find the answer to that question. And you're going to attach a lot of value, and you're going to be making some significant changes regarding this energy. Lots of confusion, guys. What's really compelling in this energy is that we crave security. We crave comfort. We crave some sort of dependability, predictability right now. It's not so much that we're boring, because you've got this Uranian energy really asking you to make some really drastic decisions and providing you a lot of really revealing energy, lots of revelations in this energy, lots of epiphanies about what you deeply desire most to personify, but also to actually externalize at the same time. That would be the duality, the Sun and Gemini. Very amazing energy. I've been deeply identifying with Neptunian energy. I feel it's so much stronger than any energy. You guys are going through some beautiful manifestation, making some beautiful changes, and I believe it's just stunning what is coming from all of it. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again on the next astrological event.